the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. So I wanted to ask you about the Celtics defensively the other night against Domas. They switched, Coach, and it didn't seem like they were too concerned about defending Domas with their guards and wings. Caused Domas some trouble, some turnovers. Do you think you guys took as much advantage as you could have versus those mismatches against the Celtics?
Well, I think early in the game, we tried to take advantage of mismatches. And when we did that early, we were stymied a bit. We scored a little bit, and it kind of took us out of our rhythm offensively, what we were trying to do. And everybody's left, we stopped moving the ball. We got to exploit this. And I think as the game went on, we started just playing. And we always say the terminology we use is let the mismatch evolve. Let's not stop playing to try to exploit it. And you're right. They put guards on Domas, and then they crowded everybody around him, knowing that he's a great passer. They pushed him out to the perimeter as much as they could, and if he got in down low, they were trapping him. So I think as the game went, we kind of got a little bit better at trying to just play and let that mismatch evolve.
Coach, you're the offensive guru of the Kings staff, so to say, and I know there's a normalcy to believe in ourselves in sports. I truly believe to be great, you have to have self-assurance. But I want to take you back to when you were first contacted by Mike Brown to be a part of the Kings staff. Is there any way that you forecasted this team being this good on the offensive side? I mean, these guys are breaking records.
Yeah, not really, except that I knew that, with Fox and Sabonis, you had two great players who could score at the rim and had pretty decent mid-range games. And I wasn't sure about what was surrounding the team when we signed Monk and Herter, and then you draft a guy like Keegan who can shoot the three. You got Trey Lyles, and you got T out there. So there's enough guys around to create the space for those guys to work. But when I talked to Mike initially, I talked about my time in Charlotte as the offensive coordinator, and we weren't a great team there, but we were top 10 offensively. We were near the top 3 in passes. We were near the top 3 in assists, and I just thought this could translate a little bit better talent. And who knew that it would be work out as well. But these guys are extremely coachable. They bought into all the off-ball cutting that I like to promote, and it's been a lot of fun watching these guys grow and develop.
Coach Jay Triano is with us here, Cattles and Ramie. No Ramie today. JJ in for Ramie. Coach, not all threes are created equal. Are you pleased with the proportion of threes that you guys have created versus threes you're just taking?
Well, we don't really have a bad shot. If it's a three, it's a good shot. Now, would we like to have a paint touch and shrink the defense? Yes. Would we like to have catch and shoot? Yes. So, those are things that we call sprays. We want to get in the paint. We want to kick it out. I'm a firm believer that if a guy is shooting the ball, sees the ball coming to him, and it's not off the bounce, then he can line up and trust that the pass will be on time and on target, which is something that we preach with our guys, throwing perfect passes to our teammates. It puts them in better shooting position. So ideally, we would like the ball to be coming on a catch and shoot action, and we'd like it to be coming from in the lane, which means the defense has shrunk and you're going to have a little bit more time to get it off.
Coach, De'Aaron and Domas are the two guys that have the ball in their hand for the most part. And, of course, Davion when he comes in and spells De'Aaron. Who do you think is the third ball handler on this team? Who are you guys trying to get that ball in their hands beyond those the big two?
Well, I think in the starting group, it's probably Kevin Herter. I think he's proven that he can make plays for others. He's got pretty good ball handling. He likes to come off that DHO and he can get to where he wants to go. But I think the key guy is off the bench, and it's Malik. Malik is so efficient at coming off with speed, and when you come off with speed, it opens up the window for that pocket pass. And I think Domas has been a recipient many times of Malik turning corners and getting downhill and finding that pocket and getting the ball through that little window that's there. But it's created because of his speed. But we joke with Malik sometimes. He's such a prolific passer, but sometimes he's going to throw it into the third row too. So we just got to make sure that that he plays downhill. When he plays downhill, we find him to be very efficient offensively.
Coach Jay Triano is with us. He's on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Coach, with all of that great stuff said about the offense, is there anything that you feel you guys could be doing better? Is there anything that you look at and say, we're just not doing a good enough job of this?
Well, offensively, I'd like us to run more. I think our pace has hurt teams all throughout the year, and getting the ball and pushing it, whether it's a make or a miss. Defensively, I think we're starting to become a little bit more disruptive, and I think that when we are, we seem to play with a desperation. Whether it's fourth quarter or we get down a little bit, we get in passing lanes, we get deflections, and I think all that leads to rebounds and go. I think there were a couple of games there where we struggled with our defensive rebounding, and we really try to push that all five guys need to rebound, because if you rebound, and you're a guard, we eliminate an outlet pass. If it's Domas, and we don't throw very many outlet passes. We give freedom to whoever rebounds the ball to see if we can get it down the court, get to our spots. We are our four spots. If we could get down to those four spots, we create space, and maybe we have an advantage without having to run a play.
Coach, we've seen a lot of Kessler Edwards here due to Kevin Huerter's injury. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife for you guys. I don't think coming in when he was first traded over this way that I envisioned the way that I've seen him so far. What's impressed you of Kessler over the last week or two?
I really like the fact that he crashes. Everything that he does real hard. Like he when he's guarding somebody, he's going to get up in that guy. He's going to make it difficult for him. And he's probably going to have to guard Booker at some point tomorrow. And we kind of put him on one of the best players on a night in and night out basis. But at the offensive end, he's kind of like that 3-and-D guy. He's in the corner, he's going to crash. He's going to get a second chance opportunity. If teams are going to leave him open, he's capable enough to shoot and make 3-point shots. So I've been surprised with this is all-around game. I think he's that typical 3-and-D. He gives us length at the perimeter position, which is something we really haven't had much of the year.
Coach Jay Triano with us. You've had some issues. I don't want to go too crazy here, but you had some issues recently with the transition defense. I noticed that some of those cross matches on the transition, Malik got caught on a couple of tough matchups in the paint the other night. Has there been one overwhelming issue that you see in that transition defense that's been the problem?
No, I think, for the most part on the year, our transition defense has been pretty good. I think, we watch film every single day on our defense and rotations. I think there were 4 or 5 games where we felt like it was really coming. I think, take away the last 2 games, the previous 5, we were in the top 15 defensively. We had a little bit of a good thing going, and then we run into, the Jazz in Utah, who played great, and then the Celtics coming in here and kind of put us back on our heels again. But I think our defensive philosophy is sound. I think these guys are starting to get used to it. I think that the urgency from the tip has to be there. And sometimes if it's not, you let a team start to feel good about themselves and how they shoot the basketball. And, I think that is the next step for us, is to not wait till the fourth quarter when the game's on the line to get up and defend the way that we can, but to do it from the jump and see if we can not let teams feel good about, being in our building or playing against us.
Jumping with the offensive guru, Coach Jay Triano of the Sacramento Kings. Coach, last one for me. There's 10 games left on the docket for the Kings, for your squad. Take me inside the locker room. What's the end all be all top goal for this team in the last 10 games? Well,
I think everything's going to be pretty much as it has been all year. And, we don't look at 10 games. We're looking at the one in front of us. And, how are we going to play that one tomorrow? How are we going to play the first quarter? How are we going to play the first possession? And we just kind of focus on the process of what's in front of us. I think at this time of year, too many people can get caught up in looking at standings, looking at results, or what might happen here, what might happen there. Regardless of what you do, it's all going to play out. But we have to make sure that we focus in on what we're doing and what we've done all year. We've had these 5-game segments, and we want to make sure that we're solid through a 5-game segment. But our goal every day is just to be, how good can we be tomorrow against the Phoenix Suns, a good team that's coming in here. They're hungry. They've lost 5 or 6 or something like that. They're not going to have a couple of their players. So how are we going to react? And, our whole thing is focus on the postseason. Let's get to the postseason, but what we do tomorrow is going to be, important as to what we're going to be doing when we get into the playoffs as well.
Last one for you, Coach. Hopefully you guys will have Kevin Huerter back tomorrow night. He's questionable. What's been the biggest impact of his absence? When he comes back, what's the one thing that you think he helps the most with this team?
I think Kevin, we all know he can shoot the basketball, and that being a threat creates a little bit more space out on the court. But the thing that I've been most impressed with Kevin is his off-ball cutting. He gives up the ball and he makes a hard cut. And, it often goes understated that, a hard cut where he doesn't get the ball, but somebody on the weak side reacts. That means that HB is getting an open look, or Foxy's got a lane to snap drive to the basket. So, we put a lot of emphasis on off-ball cutting, and I think Kevin's probably one of our best and one of the things that we've missed a little bit in the last couple games.
Coach, great stuff. Continued good luck and good fortune and good health with the rest of this season. We'll hopefully talk to you soon. Thank you.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. There goes Coach Jay Triano on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Coach Triano, always great stuff with him all throughout the year. He's been absolutely terrific. In 90 seconds, we'll continue Kings talk. Should the Kings regret not pulling the trigger on a certain trade last season?